Good morning, traders. Happy Monday. Jimmy Trades here. Welcome back to a new week. Hope you all had a fantastic weekend. Let's get into it. Remember to subscribe to the channel, give the video a like, turn on the notification icon, and be sure to drop a comment. Let's start over on the calendar. We're going to have a look at the weekly outlook, see what we've got in the way of news, and then we'll head over to the charts and check it out. Starting here on the calendar, very important. You must be reminded that daylight savings has kicked in. So for those of you like myself who traded at, say, 12:30 in the morning for New York Open, that is now 11:30 p.m. So everything moves back an hour. For me, I stick to using the New York times on my charts. So on your chart now, it should be UTC -4. I always work on New York time. And that means I really can't step wrong when I'm looking at the times that I'm trading. I also then just continue to use the kill zone times as laid out by ICT. So for London, that is 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. And although London hasn't shifted daylight savings yet, I still use those times. I just stick to it. It's each to their own. For me, it avoids any confusion. I just stick to 2 to 5. I'm happy to move beyond 5 because I know that for the next 3 weeks, London hasn't adopted daylight savings just yet. So that really I could move that from 2 to 6. I just stick to it as best I can that way, and it avoids any confusion. So when it comes to the Indices Open, we're now looking at still the 9:30 Open Eastern Standard Time, but it's UTC -4 on your charts. Okay. All right. Monday, we have no news. So low to medium probability for Monday. Then let's look at Tuesday. We have 10 a.m. news. So we've got medium to high probability trading conditions, but it is prior to CPI. So I know that there are a number of traders who will sit out Tuesday because CPI is one of those really big news drivers, and you can see lower probability conditions the day prior. So again, personal preference. I will still look to trade on Tuesday, but I'll keep that in mind. All right. Obviously, moving to Wednesday, then we have CPI. Definitely waiting till after the news drops for any positions, and also utilizing CPI as a great opportunity to one shot, one kill, to OSOC those evals, get them over and done with, moving to fund it as quick as possible. CPI is a great opportunity to do that. And I'm sure our buddy Adam, Day Trading Realtor, will be running a CPI stream. So I'll keep you updated with that when I have the information at hand. So great opportunity to OSOC, 30 to 35% off at Tradeify, code Jimmy Trades, and still 80% off all those evals at Apex with code Jimmy. Moving over to Thursday, we have 8:30 news again, PPI and unemployment claims. Another opportunity to OSOC, lower probability than CPI, but if you want to have a crack, definitely worth a try. And then we have Friday, medium to high probability trading again with news at 10. Rightio, let's jump over to the chart. I got some good feedback on the Friday video where I just ran through some trades from the Asia and London session. So I'm going to mix it up a little bit in the videos moving ahead, so we can keep the content as fresh as possible on a daily basis. And we'll throw in a day or two a week where we just look at Asia and London session at the trades or potential trades that could have been taken, or trades that I may have taken myself. And we can look at the probabilities of the trade, what we were looking at for the trade, the structure of the trade, all that sort of stuff. So we can keep educating on the way we approach the markets. All right, starting here on NQ, the weekly chart. I do like to start the week out on the weekly chart just to see where we're positioned. What we can see is we have a weekly bullish FEG here with a swing low into that, and we have swept out that low and the rest of that bullish FEG. So I do like that we respected that. You can see that here. We respected that bullish FEG. Now, yes, we have gapped down today. You can see that gap there. That gap is yet to be filled. All right. What I do like is potentially looking to previous day low. All right, this is the low hanging fruit. So we might see a move lower and then we might push up higher. We want to see if that gap will be filled. That's what I'm looking for. We will keep an eye on that. Definitely looks like the low hanging fruit being previous day low. Let's drop down to the daily. Now, did we come off a low again? So on the daily as well, we had a bullish FEG with a swing low. We swept that out. We didn't quite get down into this FEG, but we did sweep out the remainder of that daily FEG there. We then had a beautiful swing point candle closure where we closed back inside the range of the previous day. This gives us insight to order flow, or potential insight to order flow. As I say, I would like to see the previous day low swept out and then potentially looking to return back into the range. I'm going to remain bearish though until such time as we sweep out this low or we get a change in the state of delivery, which we don't have just yet. We can see the hourly structure is, we don't need to do much here. We can just see the downtrend, okay? We can use this trend line and we can see that price is definitely moving lower. We had a change in the state of delivery through here that failed with this open. Okay, this is where the gap is. And we can see how prices tried but failed multiple times at the moment to reach back through that new week opening gap. We have an hourly low here. We could look for a sweep of this. As I say, ideally, I'd like to see the Friday low taken. We've got these relative equal lows down here. So I'm going to stick with that bearish bias. Of course, if we get a close above this level here, then I'll start looking for price to continue to move higher. Again, I would still prefer to have seen a sweep out of this low and then move higher and we get that close above, giving us our change in the state of delivery. We haven't got that yet. Sticking bearish for now. All right, let's jump over to ES on the weekly. Okay, so same with NQ. We have had 3 weeks of bearish price action. After that, we could see consolidation or retracement. But interesting to see here with ES has closed through. Okay, we've closed through that bullish FEG, therefore disrespecting it. So there's potential here that we might see price continue to move lower. We've got this bearish breaker. We had a sweep out of the high here on the weekly. We now have a weekly bearish breaker. We've got FEG aligned as well. I'm not saying we're going to go this low, but it's just something to keep in mind. What stands out for me always is wicks like this. These large wicks always stand out to me. There's going to be a lot of orders potentially still sitting here for this move higher. I like to see these wicks cleaned up down here. So there's a potential for price to move lower here off the back of this weekly bearish breaker. Let's move out to the move down to the daily. So here on the daily, we do have price respecting this bullish FEG. We had a nice tap into that and a really strong reaction out of there as well. And insight to order flow, swing point candle, closed back inside the range, closed bullish as well. I really like that. And for me, when we have these new week opening gaps like to be filled. That's an opportunity to anticipate price might move back and fill that gap. Again, I would like to see a sweep of the previous week low, being the low-hanging fruit. Potentially something like this. I am going to position myself with a bearish bias for now. Let's move down to the hourly. And I imagine we'll see a similar looking chart to NQ. And you can see that trend moving down here. Like NQ, we did get a close above with a change in the state of delivery here and with displacement. However, that's been immediately disrespected upon open today. So looking at price here, this is the low ideally I'd like to see swept out before looking to reverse. And at the moment, until that happens, or we see a change in the state of delivery, potentially a close above this level here, then I will remain bearish. Moving over to oil, jump out to the weekly. Well, it still looks very bearish. We didn't quite sweep out the low here. We put in equal lows. Weekly equal lows. We've closed through, disrespected all bullish liquidity, inverted, and we've continued to move lower. So weekly looks bearish. Let's move to the daily. Off this swing low, we closed through, disrespecting that level. We then put in equal lows. we ended up with a decent sort of seller's wick here. And if we look at that, we are expecting a quarter of that seller's wick at the moment. Looking for price to continue lower here. Got this low resistance liquidity that's built up through here as well. Let's drop down to the hourly, see what the hourly tells us. Not the cleanest looking chart, but we did come off this swing high. We did close through this level, therefore bearish change in the state of delivery. Currently looking like we might disrespect that. However, what I would like to point out is we have these relative equal highs through here. Anticipating a sweep of these highs for then price to shift and continue to move lower. Here we have that low resistance liquidity we were talking about. It runs right through here. Let's keep an eye on this. I will sit bearish for the time being. Insight to order flow. We did close back inside the range of the previous candle. Moving lower. We'll see if price sweeps out these highs and then looks to U-turn from there. Jumping over to Euro futures. Let's have a look at the daily. There's a lot going on the chart here. Let's clean that up a little bit. Rightio. So, off our projections here, price moved up into the -2 to 2.5 target. Perfect. Into this bearish FEG as well. So targets met here. For us to reach up any further, we're going to want to see a close above the -2.5, this region here. At the moment, price is, let's get rid of that. That's annoying me. Okay. Price is consolidating at the -2 region, and that's to be anticipated. We either consolidate or retrace, and then we will look to see price move higher. Now, we are respecting 50% of the previous day's range at the moment. Low-hanging fruit right now does look to be the high. And it is fairly even right now, but leaning towards this high side at the moment. Open low, high close, something like that. Let's run with the bullish bias. You know what? Actually, I'm going to correct that. The reason being, we are respecting at the moment. I'm going to sit neutral, and because we're respecting this 50% of the previous day's range, but what I do want to just point out, and sometimes things you just overlook them, but what we do have is that we have a daily swing point candle closure where we closed back inside the range. You can see that here. We closed back inside the range of the previous day. That is insight to order flow, so potentially moving lower. We do have a bullish FEG here. So if price does start to disrespect that 50% level that we had marked out, let's just mark it out again. If price starts to disrespect that 50% level, then we can look for price to move down into this bullish FEG and then potentially start to reverse from there. So while we're respecting the 50% level, I will look for the previous day high to be swept and then make a call from there. But on account of the fact that we are coming out of a bearish FEG, but we're also respecting that 50% level, I'm going to sit neutral for now. That gives me the ability to remain flexible to price. And I can pivot whichever way I see fit. All right, let's have a look at YM. We'll just have a look at the daily. So we had an inversion of this daily FEG into this low bullish FEG here. We are respecting that level at the moment. We did get a swing point candle closure out of this bullish FEG. So if we look here, we did close back inside that. We haven't been able to get through that level yet. And I want to see the 50% level of the previous day's range respected here, or we're going to head for this low. We don't really have any internal to reach for here. It's only external. If we return, we do have, there's no wick to the high side here, so that will act as a draw on liquidity. Will it be today? I guess we'll find out. Sitting neutral for YM as well. What does the hourly look like? Not the prettiest. We are in this trend lower. Similar, obviously, to NQ and ES. We did get a change in the state of delivery through here, but then that was immediately disrespected on open. And we haven't been able to get back through. So, you know, let's have a look to see if price wants to sweep out Friday's low. And then look to retrace and move higher up to these, probably these session highs. Yeah, that's the Asia high here. Jumping over to gold. Let's go to the daily. Gold in a period of consolidation at the moment. You can see that plain to see here right now. I'm not interested in calling a bias on gold while we're sitting in this consolidation. If we move to the hourly, let's clear that up. We can see this range even more so. I'm going to want to see a sweep of the range. This is the Thursday low, or vice versa, sweep of the high with some clear structure before I look to entertain trading gold. So I'm not interested in trading gold today at this stage. Over on Dixie, where we're reaching for that target, going to stick with that. Stick with this low here. We're so close to it now, and with that being a candle with no wick to the low side, it's definitely a good draw on liquidity. We closed through this opening gap here, and it looks like we might continue to this low, so remaining bearish. I want to run the standard deviations out from the high to low here. There you go. That makes sense for price to want to reach down to here, and that'll clean that up as well. All right, let's move over to GU. Very messy chart there right now. Let's clean that up. Continuing to move higher here. the high to the low. Looking for this to be our draw, our target region here. Already swept out previous day low, as you can see. Anticipative price. Actually, we've swept the high and the low already. Looking at that, yeah, we've swept the high and the low. Let's have a look at the hourly. See what the hourly has for us. Okay, so we do have a change in the state of delivery here, which is being respected. We've got that displacement moving lower. Low resistance liquidity through here as well, which we have swept out a little bit. Want to see this level invalidated for price to continue higher, or we're going to bounce off that and move lower. Neutral for GU also. All right, crypto BTC, what do you got for us? Having a look at the weekly. All those gains that were made, pretty much lost all of them. 1 week to the next week. We've now closed through this weekly bearish FEG, and I think there's a good chance, I hate to say it, that we'll at least look out for this low and potentially down into, the remainder of this gap. This is from the daily, this one here. So we had that insight to order flow we talked about earlier on last week. We saw price then move lower from that. Definitely looking for the low here. So bearish for Bitcoin, sadly. Rightio guys, thank you for tuning in today. I hope you have a good trading session. We'll catch you over in Trade Foundry. Remember to grab those evals, 30 to 35% off with Tradeify, code Jimmy Trades, and 80% off with Apex, code Jimmy. Links are in the description. You can also catch the Trade Foundry link down there as well. Take care. Have a good Monday. Bye for now.